Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time from Thaddeus, who wanted me to talk about the 2010 film Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. Now, Batman Under the Red Hood, I have seen before. At one time I had a review of this up, but sadly had to take it down for BS reasons. But it was nice to revisit this again, because I always did enjoy this. In fact, I would say the DC animated films, they're actually some of the better DC movies in general in the past 10 years. I love The Dark Knight Returns with Peter Weller. I have it on DVD, but I really want to get the Blu-ray of that. Because there's like a Blu-ray that has both of them together, because it's in two parts. Peter Weller's Batman. I do want to get that. I put it on my Amazon wishlist, so in the future one day we'll get it. And I enjoyed Justice League: The New Frontier, The Flashpoint Paradox. I recently reviewed The Death of Superman. I enjoyed that. Again, they do a lot of nice work, and it's the thing with Marvel. Maybe it's because they work with Disney or owned by Disney. Marvel could do that. You could do Spider-Man animated films and do, okay, Spider-Man, let's do a film where he fights the Juggernaut, and that story with the Juggernaut, or this and that. Take a risk like DC does. Let's make a bit of a graphic version of Maximum Carnage. But no, you can't do that. Disney won't allow it. In fact, they don't do a lot of animated films, and the few they did kind of sucked. Except maybe Hulk Versus. It's like the one decent one they did. But Batman Under the Red Hood, I enjoyed. I saw it back in the day. It goes by a very quick pace. Has some really nice animation. I swear sometimes the animation in some of these movies nowadays seem cheaper than the animation back then. Because again, I remember The Dark Knight Returns, this one. They just feel like the animation is a bit more fluid, or a bit more just budget into them compared to nowadays. Maybe that's just me. But the voice cast is fairly capable. Bruce Greenwood, he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in iRobot. He was in a lot of other stuff. He voices Batman. Did a good job of it. Jensen Ackles from Supernatural voices the Red Hood. Neil Patrick Harris voices Nightwing, who used to be the first Robin. And it tells a story about the Jason Todd Robin, the second Robin, who... it begins with him being beaten by the Joker with a crowbar. And based on that story from back in the day, there's a bomb. Joker leaves. Jason Todd's trying to get out of it. There's an explosion. Batman's not there in time. Then you cut to 5 years later. And this vigilante character called the Red Hood, who's doing deals with bad guys, saying, fine, you want to do your drugs, just don't deal with kids, otherwise you're dead. And pretty much trying to control crime, as well as willing to kill. And it's going up against this other bad guy, Black Mask, which I say is a much better rendition here than Ewan McGregor did in Birds of Prey. This Black Mask actually has personality. I love when he gets pissed and he keeps punching his subordinates. He gets so pissed, he just fucking knocking his fellow bad guys out. And let's say it goes by a fast pace. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes. That's with credits. So it moves very smoothly. And the action scenes are very solid. Like when Nightwing and Batman are chasing after the Red Hood, and Batman gets to his Batmobile. No, his Batplane. Gets into the plane as chasing after Red Hood, and is going through the tunnel, and it's right behind the car, it moves rather smoothly, rather fluid. Like, they spent a little bit more money on this, which is nice. You get some nice foot chases, like when the two of them are chasing Red Hood on long rooftops, and you just see how agile Red Hood can do. Even when Batman tries to hook him, boom, Red Hood's able to flip and cut it before it tightens. There's a bit that he jumps out the window, he grabs like a fire extinguisher or something, he throws it, and when he jumps out, he turns, blows up, so that Batman and Nightwing have to get out of the way. Like I said, the action is very dynamic. It's very fast and furious with the action. Even the fight scenes, there's some nice choreography. Whether it be when at one point Batman's helping Red Hood fight these 4 assassins. I forget what they were called, but they were hired by Black Mask to take this guy out. Some of them, one of them or two, like one of them almost looks like a cybernetic version of Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. But I don't know, I forget. There's like 4 villains. They have sort of cybernetic equipment on them. And again, nice choreography. There's even a point where someone has a staff and Batman does like a judo and breaks through the staff and knocks the motherfucker out. And it's violent. Like, there are people that die in it. Like, Red Hood is willing to kill. I mean, there's one that he kills because he shoves something into their face, overcharges, and it cuts away, but you see, like, blood splatter on the ground. And spoiler alert, for those who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. If you like Batman, if you like these DC animated films, I think this is one of the best. I do. I still think the best is The Dark Knight Returns. I did the one that Peter Weller voiced Batman. I still think that's the best one. But this is up there, definitely in top 5, the DC animated films. Because it's telling a decent enough emotional story with, like I said, capable voice acting, some pretty fluid, well done action sequences, willing to go a bit edgy when it needs to, and doesn't overstay its welcome. And spoiler alert, you kind of find out the Red Hood is Jason Todd. That Ra's al Ghul, they pronounce it Ra's. I thought it was Ra's al Ghul, but in the movie they said it's Ra's al Ghul. Felt bad for what happened, took the body, put it in the Lazarus pit. He came back, but he went a bit crazy, and so on and so forth. Anyhow, I'm going to control crime and then kill what I need to kill. That's something you would never do. And it goes into the morality of Batman, where Jason Todd's just frustrated. Why don't you kill? Why don't you do this and that? Then there's a bit with, because Black Mask needs help and gets Joker out of prison. And something's happened. Joker's ready to kill Batman and such, stop him. You get a pretty good fight between Batman and Red Hood that culminates in a bathroom where Batman's like slamming him against the wall. And again, nicely done on the choreography of the fighting. But at one point, Red Hood gets Joker. It's like, why is he still alive? Why don't you kill him? This guy tried to kill me, kind of did kill me. Why is he alive? And Batman's like, yeah, I wanted to. I think about that daily. But I know if I start that, if I go down that path, I'll never get out of it again. Which is the morality of Batman. That if he decides to start killing, there'll be no stopping. If I could do it once, I could do it twice. If I could do it twice, I could do it 3 times. Now granted, I have a different type of line of thinking where if it's a guy like Joker, yeah, just shoot him in the face. So I'm kind of with Jason Todd on that principle. Probably that's why I always enjoyed The Punisher as a comic book and a comic book character. So that's why I'm like more of a Punisher guy than a Batman guy. But at the same time, I get Batman's point of view. Even if I don't share it, I get it. And you had a pretty decent finale where Batman dodges a bullet and throws a batarang and fucks up the gun. I know technically there's a sequel, kinda, sorta, because many years later there was something called Batman Death in the Family. It was one of those where you could pick and choose. So like if you pick and choose if Batman died saving Robin, it would go a different path. Or if Batman saved Robin, it would go a different path. Kind of like a choose your own adventure type of story. So it really wasn't a sequel to the Red Hood story. It was just kind of a what if, which was interesting. But I think it's like a short film. But it's like, but I think you need like, you can't really watch that online. That's something you actually need a disc for, because to be able to choose where to go. So interesting idea. But I think Bruce Greenwood voices Batman again, but Jensen Ackles doesn't voice Red Hood. Someone else does. So yeah, I like the animation. I like the action. It's a good, serious story about Batman's morality, his guilt for Jason Todd, how Jason Todd was corrupted because of what happened. Like I said, it doesn't overstay its welcome. I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, wow, there's actually a little bit of blood in this. I mean, it's not like Akira. It's not, over the top blood gore, but even the fact that there's a little bit, and wow, someone actually died, and it showed that you can do that. And they do it with DC animated films. You're allowed to tell those type of stories. Case in point, if Nickelodeon did not own Ninja Turtles, if Warner Brothers did, maybe they would allow, okay, we'll make a more family-friendly version, but then we can have Batman Under the Red Hood. We can have Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Let's like, for me and Ninja Turtles, I'd be like, hey, you know what, let's do a story about, based on the first comic, or about this and that. And that even goes with Marvel, like I said. There are stories, I'm sure countless stories of Marvel that could be told in an animated format that's a little bit more serious, a little bit more dark. Like, I'd be open to Punisher animated films. There's one that he was in that just was clunky. I think like Black Widow or something else was in it. Whatever. It was many, many years ago. I remember not caring for it. But I mean, like a Punisher. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do, man. Like I would like, let's have a R-rated Punisher animated film. So I just picture like there's a bit where he has like a two flamethrowers that he goes up, and he has a gas mask because he knows things don't get hot, and just burning all these bad guys. I think there's a lot of potential untapped. And that's what DC's been doing fairly well. I mean, at least then, this was 2010. Any complaints? I'm not sold on the Joker's voice. I hate to say it, because, yes, other people can voice Joker. It doesn't have to be Mark Hamill. But I do think in this case, it would have been better if it was Mark Hamill. But I'm sure it'd be like, well, what about Kevin Conroy's Batman? I would have been fine with that too, although I do think Bruce Greenwood did a good job voicing. I don't know why they did not get Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. I don't know why. Maybe just they didn't want to seem like it's a sequel to the animated series. But they've done that where that's happened as well. So I don't know, I guess just because. But I'm saying they've done stuff with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill that wasn't connected with the animated series, but I just random. I don't know. But yeah, the guy who voiced Joker, I wasn't. He was there, but I just wasn't 100% sold. I don't know if it's because his voice sounds like a much older Joker or like a little bit of a gruffer Joker. His voice has a little bit of a gruffer tone to it. I don't know. Just felt off. Just felt off. I don't know. Just I can't put my finger on it. But just again, I don't have a lot of complaints about it. That's one of the few I have. Like Joker's voice, I wasn't 100% sold on. And Red Hood, I don't know what happened to the Red Hood. I don't know, because his body's missing, so I don't know. Like Death in the Family, the anime, it wasn't really a sequel. Like it's a what if. I'm surprised they never made an actual sequel with the Red Hood character. Maybe they did, and I don't know it. But I would think this would have been successful enough to make a sequel to it. To find the final fate of the Red Hood and Jason Todd, but I didn't. They did kind of a sequel, Batman Death in the Family, but again, that was more like a what if. You know, what if he had saved Robin from the explosion? What if Batman had died saving Robin? You know, again, that type of stuff. But yeah, Batman Under the Red Hood, very solid entry. Don't know what else to say, but thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.